If you look for it, every day has cause for celebration.
Celebrate a friend for their promotion.
Wedding.
New home.
Or celebrate yourself for keeping the couch warm.
Hey, it's no easy feat, especially if it's the big couch.
Or maybe you just want to celebrate living in 2022, where you can get beer, wine, and spirits conveniently delivered from Drizzly without leaving your couch.
Drizzly is the #1 app for alcohol delivery. It is the most convenient way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your doorstep in under 60 minutes.
The convenience!
If you are getting ready to have people over and you just don't have time to run out to the store, Drizzly can deliver all the beer, wine, and spirits that you may need right to your door in under an hour.
Right now, Drizzly is giving all new customers $5 off their first order with the code FAST5.
So download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's Drizzly, DRIZLY.com, and use the promo code FAST5 for $5 off your first order.
Our next partner has a product I literally use every day. I started taking athletic greens because I was concerned about heading back into the classroom and having enough energy to get myself through the day. As a teacher, I'm on my feet all day long. There was also concerns about my immune health being in the classroom again, especially during the time of COVID.
I've also started taking athletic greens. As somebody who takes vitamins every day, I wanted to start using AG1 so that I could get all of my vitamins from one source instead of a whole bunch of different supplements.
One scoop of athletic greens is 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right.
This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging.
So we both started taking athletic greens, also known as AG1, this past winter, which helped to give us both a leg up on flu and cold season. Personally, I take athletic greens in the morning after I've had my cup of coffee. I mix it into a 12-ounce cup of cold water. It gets me set for the day. It's great at not only giving me energy in a high demanding school environment, but helping me with my rest and recovery at night.
I also take AG1 like that, or sometimes I'll even throw it into a protein shake, and it adds some great flavor.
AG1 is a small micro habit you can do every day to better activate your body and mind. Made from the highest quality products and based on the latest science, Athletic Greens is recommended by professional athletes and trusted by leading health experts.
Whether you're vegetarian, on paleo, on keto, AG1 is great for any diet because it is gluten-free, nut-free, dairy-free, egg-free, and there's no added sugar.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/gaze. That's athleticgreens.com/gaze, GAZE, to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Hello and welcome to Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast. I'm Dusty.
And I'm Mike. And if you're joining us for the first time, Gaze at the National Parks is the podcast that explores the trails of America's national parks. One hiking trail and one national park, one park at a time.
In between our full-length episodes, which explore these trails, we have trail mix episodes. These episodes cover a variety of topics related to the national parks and the environment, and often explore topics we didn't have time to cover in depth in a full-length episode.
Right now, our full-length episodes are all about the trails in Glacier National Park, located in the area of land also called Montana. We would also like to acknowledge that the land also known as Glacier National Park is on the traditional and stolen lands of the Blackfeet and the Tenaya Nation.
The land, also called Glacier National Park, is also known for its bear population, and today's trail mix is all about how to be bear aware.
Bear aware.
Right.
We're not talking about on the beach or at the club. We're
Right.
talking about
or in
the
Provincetown,
parks. Or in Provincetown.
at the bar.
Provincetown.
I mean, certainly you can be bear aware.
Right.
Yeah,
Those bears are easy to spot.
they are, and they're very sweet.
They are.
They are.
We're talking about real bears out in the world.
I mean, there are plenty of them.
Yeah. So we've had some experiences with bears.
Mostly it's me waking up in the morning. Right.
The most anxiety-inducing experience was when we were actually in Grand Tetons.
Right.
Yes, or in the Grand Teton National Park.
Okay, so let's talk about our experiences with bears, right? Okay, so the first time we ever encountered a bear together was actually in Shenandoah National Park. It was our first time in Shenandoah.
Yeah.
We were only there for a day.
2 days, I think. No, it was a day.
It was just a day.
Yeah.
We drove down early in the morning. We got there around like 11.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to a junior ranger.
A regular ranger.
I don't think so.
A ranger in training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were very young.
Yeah.
And told us a few things to do. We went to a couple of spots, and the second spot we went to was we went out on the trail for about 15 feet.
Yeah.
And then we saw a
black bear.
Baby black bear.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh no. And
Sorry.
at that point, we didn't know how to respond to bears, so we just turned around and walked away.
Right. Yeah. Not our finest hour.
Not our finest moment.
Mm-mm.
We got to the parking lot and we saw these other two hikers about to go in who were also from New Jersey.
Right.
And we said, oh, we just saw a bear. And they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They didn't, it wasn't,
like,
they didn't have a
just
problem.
make a lot of noise.
They told us, just make a lot of noise, let the bear leave first.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, okay. They said black bears are not grizzly bears. So that was our first time interacting with bear awareness.
Yes. And then the next time, was it in Catoctin Mountain when we saw that bear like barreling?
Oh, that's right.
Down the like
It was the black
mountainside?
bear.
It was another black bear. Yeah. From the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the car, we
Yeah.
saw it in Catoctin Mountain
Yeah.
in Maryland.
In Maryland. Yep.
The next bear encounter that we had was, I think, okay, so for all of our time that we spent in Glacier, we actually didn't ever encounter a bear on the trail.
No.
We did see a bear on the side of the road one morning, very briefly.
Yes.
It sort of appeared and
Right
then
at
it
the
disappeared
start of going to the
very,
Sun
very
Road.
early
Yeah.
on the east side.
Yeah.
And then there was a bear at the campsite that we were staying at.
But we didn't see that bear.
But we didn't see that bear. However, there was a family from South Carolina who did not put away their garbage.
No.
There are signs everywhere. There are dumpsters with like, you know,
Bear-proof dumpsters.
bear-proof dumpsters to put all your trash in, and they just left it by their campsite.
Assuming that
Food.
someone would come and get that for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Trash pickup, ring-a-ding-ding.
I'm like, this is what I'm going to say. We were staying in a campsite that was lovely for the campsite that it was. But like when you look around, they're not offering turn down service.
Right.
I think a KOA will take your trash away.
Yeah.
That has been
Yes.
true.
You can
But
also dump it, but yes.
you
they
can
do.
also dump your own trash. Also, if you are in an area that might have bears,
Yeah.
one, it's on you to know that.
Yeah.
And two, it's on you to respond accordingly.
Yeah.
And also, no one else
Right.
was leaving
It's
their garbage.
situational awareness too.
Y'all.
So, yeah.
Y'all. It was bad.
Yeah.
I was in. Now, this was a really lovely moment for me personally because I love drama I'm not a part of, as do you.
Exactly.
You live for it. You live. It's like an IV for you.
Just get my binoculars out
Yes.
and my hearing horn.
I was in the camp office when the mother from this family that left out their garbage was inside. Just
Incensed, right?
Incensed. And the associate behind the counter was like kind of having like a conversation with delusion, right? And so this person was doing a really great job of trying to be very firm and clear with this woman, but she was just not getting it. She was like, ma'am, you have to take your garbage out. The reason that everybody had to literally pack up at 11 p.m. last night because they came down there and they said, everybody, there's a bear around. You have to literally break down your camp, put it all in your car, drive your car up to the camp office and sleep in your car for the night. And this happened to at least like how many? 8, 9, 10 families
Sure, yeah.
that were staying in this area. And they all had to do that. It was bad. And this woman, her garbage was the cause of it. And I watched the entire conversation. I might as well have had a bowl of popcorn. Like I exited and I was like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this.
You were brimming with tea.
Oh, I was brimming with tea. The tea was spilling out of all sides. So we never saw that bear.
No.
But
We were bear adjacent.
assuming that it was grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Because, you know, black bears. Here's the other thing. Like, black bears can do plenty of harm too.
Sure.
But grizzly bears are the ones that will kill people.
Yeah.
So,
as this did also happen while we were out in Montana, not near Glacier,
Right.
but there was a story about someone who had left food in their tent and moved the food out of the tent into their car, but the food smell was still there and they were killed by a grizzly.
that's right.
Yep. So
My mom called me and was like, did you see that this happened? And I'm like, that was on the other side of the state. And yes, I saw.
Yeah.
We have no food out at
Tent.
all.
Yeah.
Inside of containers inside of a car.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
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 It wasn't great.
No.
That wasn't great.
No.
But I think our sort of like highest, we have two other moments with bears.
Well, we were involved in a big traffic snarl in Yellowstone because people were freaking out about bears.
There was one black bear
Yeah.
like up the hill. The traffic was
a standstill.
deadlock
Yeah.
to see the bear.
Yeah. A black bear.
It was like the black bear had come out from wherever it had been, and like everybody was like losing their minds. Literally. And we were like, okay, well, it was like, y'all, it's a black bear, and now he can sort of sense that all of you are watching him, and it's not great.
No.
It's not great.
No.
Before we get to our moment of highest drama, we also saw a family of black bears that were fairly close to us.
Yeah, like maybe 25 feet away.
Yeah, which is probably too close.
We didn't enter, like, we weren't, like,
we were on a trail, and then here they come,
Yeah.
like
Crossing the trail.
Crossing the trail.
Yeah.
It was a family of black bears.
like 3 cubs and a mama.
It was 3 cubs, and they were so cute.
And we were with other people that we weren't hiking with. They just happened to be on the
happened
trail
upon
with us.
them.
And they were getting too close. So we had to sort of be like, no, don't get, that's too close. We had to sort of be like bear police there for a minute to just be like, don't get much closer because this is going to be a problem for you.
It is going to be a problem.
But that was a docile experience.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
And they, we just sat there, took some photos, and then they continued on.
Yep,
And then
over
we
the
all
trail.
walked on.
Yep.
Right. But let's talk about our moment of highest drama. We talk about this in episode 69, Jenny Lake and Inspiration Point in Grand Teton National Park. So what happened, Mike?
Well, when we were headed around Jenny Lake towards Inspiration Point, we had, as we were getting closer to the dock for Inspiration Point, we did have some people come up to us and say, just so you know, there's some bears down the trail. The both of us went, oh, okay, what kind of bears? And the guy was like, they're black bears. And we were like, okay. We were talking, we were being loud, we were banging our hiking poles together at this point. And then we walked a little further down the trail and we encountered 3 very distraught people. That said, we just saw a grizzly bear and a moose in the span of like 2 minutes.
Yeah, they said there's a group of bears.
Yeah.
And I said, is it black bears? And they said, it's grizzly bears and black bears. And what we felt was going to be like this is a bear experience that we're probably going to happen upon because we're walking this direction on the trail, suddenly became like a terrifying experience because now grizzly bears are involved.
And so we were very close to the dock at this point, proceeded very cautiously as we were walking. They said the bears were off the trail about like 40, 50 feet. So we proceeded cautiously. As we got close to the dock, we saw 2 or 3 black bear cubs.
I think it was 3 black bear cubs run up a tree.
Meanwhile, everyone on the dock is screaming and freaking out.
Because they see these bears
Yeah.
climbing up a tree, right? And there are hundreds of people on the dock,
Yeah.
right? Not how you respond when bears are about.
No.
But yeah, and so I took some pictures of these bears, these baby bears up the tree. And we could see, we were like, okay, well, where there are baby bears, there are mama bears around. I was like, let's keep moving toward this giant group of people. At least we'll be safer near a giant group of people.
Right.
And so we did.
But then we did see a big bear that
We
was
did see a big
there
bear.
at the base of that tree, but it was not Mama Black Bear.
No.
It was
some kind of grizzly bear. Because apparently black bears and grizzly bears, they live with and amongst each other.
Sure. Yep.
They aren't mutually exclusive. And sometimes a bunch of cubs from one bear family will go off and hang out with cubs in another bear family. So, right. Later, when we were texting our friend and author, Becky Lomax.
She's our author.
Yeah, right. She's our author. Our friend,
who is
also an author, Becky Lomax. She was saying, oh, yeah, when you see baby bears up a tree, that means that Mama Bear has sensed danger. So to keep the bears safe, she has sent them up the tree and she's going to go deal with the danger. Make sure that you aren't that danger.
Mike and Dusty trepidatiously walked down the trail.
Right.
No one has a business like yours. With all its strengths and challenges, to succeed, you need a hiring partner that adapts to your needs. You need Indeed.
Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Finding great talent doesn't have to be a second job. You can hire faster and better with Indeed. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all.
Find great talent faster through time-saving tools like Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US.
One of the things I really loved about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because Indeed does the hard work for you. When you pay to post a job, Instant Match shows you candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your description immediately after you post so you can hire faster. As someone recently in the market for a new job, it was a real comfort to know that my skills, talents, and interests were being matched with the perfect potential employers for me.
Even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements. Indeed is an unbelievably powerful hiring partner, delivering 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest 2019. So join the more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast.
Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/gaze. This offer is good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/gaze.
Again, that's Indeed.com/gaze, and that's GAZE. Terms and conditions apply. Pay per qualified applicant, not available for all users. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Today's episode of Gaze at the National Parks is sponsored by TrueFire.com, the planet's largest and most comprehensive selection of online guitar lessons, according to Guitar Player magazine.
TrueFire's interactive learning tools and massive library of over 50,000 video lessons help guitarists ignite their technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing. Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Using TrueFire's desktop and mobile apps, guitarists work with multi-angle HD video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere, and at their own pace. TrueFire's style-specific learning paths guide guitarists every step of the way. Use the assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow the lesson recommendations and track your progress as you work through your personalized TrueFire study plan.
And TrueFire's educators are the best in the biz. From Grammy Award winners to world-renowned artists, TrueFire students have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, and acoustic guitar educators. Guitar players can progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, premium tracks, and so much more. With thousands of 5-star reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform.
So grab your guitar and ignite your musicality. Visit TrueFire.com and use code GAZE for your free 30-day all-access trial and 50% off your first purchase. That's TrueFire.com/gaze. And that's GAZE, G-A-Z-E.
So yeah, that has been our experience with bears in national parks. But what is the correct way to respond to bears if one happens upon them?
And what does it mean to be bear aware?
And what does it mean to be bear aware? So I do have to say, based on what I've seen, I do, and I talked about this with Becky too, I do feel like there is a bit of an inconsistency in the directions on how to respond to bears. Because we're going to go over what the MPS advises, but even inside of what the MPS advises, there's some
nuance
and inconsistency.
Yeah,
so
for sure. So let's take a look at and break down everything to keep in mind to stay bear aware. And just to remember, we're not bear experts by any means. You should do your own research. You should always listen to the rangers. We're presenting some information and experiences that we've had when it comes to bears and hiking in bear country, and some things that you should definitely keep in mind that are universal.
That's right. Also, there was a bear that was around my neighborhood about, I guess it was about 6 months ago. Just like wandering around. It was a black bear. And there were literally people I saw like on social media and in like group chats going like, oh my God, where is it? I want to pet the bear. And I'm like, y'all, I was like on all of them. And I'm like, everybody, if you do happen upon this bear, do not attempt to pet this bear.
Yeah.
It is a black bear and it does not want you to pet him.
No, most bears don't
want you to pet it. It does not want you to pet it. No. So let's talk about types of bears and how to identify bears. So we've talked mostly about black bears and grizzly bears. There are also brown bears, which can sometimes get confused with grizzly bears. There's also black bears that are brown that can also get confused with brown bears and grizzly bears. There's also cinnamon bears, and sometimes those can get confused with brown bears and grizzly bears. So most of the time, the bears in North America that one will see while hiking in anywhere where there are bears are black bears or grizzly bears. Grizzly bears are in the Rocky Mountain Range, and they've been reintroduced in California in the Sierra Nevadas.
Well,
I'm pretty
it's on their
sure.
flag.
Yeah, but there are no grizzly bears on the eastern side of the land, also called the United States. There just aren't any.
Yeah, just black bears.
Just black bears. But when you are hiking, the one specific thing that is like a huge identifier for identifying a grizzly bear is the hump on its back at the base of its neck. If the bear has this hump there, that's a grizzly bear. Other bears, like their head goes smoothly right into their back, and it's like one sort of nice sort of sloped line. But if you get that indentation up, that bump up, then that is a grizzly bear. Grizzly bears also tend to be bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So we say that because they're the ones who are aggressive, who will hurt you, and they're the ones that kill people.
Yeah,
Not that black bears haven't, but grizzly bears do it way, 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 way more often. So let's talk about what happens if you see a bear on the side of the road. Now, in Yellowstone, there were animals all over the side of the road.
Yeah.
Mostly bison.
Yep. Some elk.
And yes, some elk, they were there, but we didn't really see any bears on the side of the road.
No.
Now,
except for that snarl.
There were plenty of people when there was like a buffalo crossing the road. They would roll down their window, they'd take a photo of the buffalo, they'd reach out to the buffalo, right? You shouldn't touch a buffalo. No. But they could be in their car like fairly close to the buffalo.
Yeah.
But what should we do if that happens with a bear?
You should not be that close to a bear. You want to travel at least 100 yards and you want to pull over in a safe location. Roadside bears become very used to traffic and people. That increases their chances of potentially being hit by a vehicle. So that's something to keep in mind. We don't want, bears that is their environment. We are visitors into that environment. So we have to remember that constantly, just like any wildlife. So we have to remember to not only be bear aware, but to be conscientious of the fact that we are entering into a bear's environment where they are most likely the apex predator.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is something that I think people don't realize is that one of the reasons they say do not ever give food to wildlife is because they will become accustomed to eating human food and then see humans as a place to get food.
Right.
That can certainly lead to wildlife hurting humans. If wildlife becomes threatening to humans in that way, that could be a squirrel. A squirrel could be a threat to a human if a squirrel believes that humans are the only place to get food.
Sure.
Right? But that could potentially lead to having to euthanize a member of wildlife.
Yep.
We don't want that.
No.
Okay. So let's talk about hiking in bear country. The first big rule that everyone says while hiking in bear country is make noise.
Yes. So that could include singing the soundtrack to the movie musical Chicago.
Yeah, or Broadway musical Chicago, right?
It could include rehashing films that your friend and hiking partner has not seen, or Shakespearean plays. It could just involve having loud conversations. It could also involve potentially wearing a bear bell or a bell of some sort that will just consistently make noise because it's jostling on your bag.
Now, the NPS does say that bear bells are not adequate or effective. And that the best way to make your presence known, because bears, especially bears that like are in, say, a national park, because park rangers have like worked to make sure that like bears have their own place to be and like know where the trails are and whatnot. Bears like to know what's happening around them so that they can adjust themselves. They don't like to be surprised. Especially grizzly bears, I would imagine, don't like being surprised. So talking very loudly, making a lot of noise, clapping, just making sure that like, and that's like above like your regular volume, right? Just making sure that like you are making loud noises.
Yep. When we were with Becky Lomax hiking in Glacier, she would call out at regular intervals, "Hey bear, hey bear," like at a pretty loud volume.
Right.
Just to kind of make it known that we were hiking and keeping our presence away,
And I was taking my hiking sticks and hitting them together like Vicky or Meredith does in the Parent Trap movie to keep the mountain lions away. That is effective. It's nice and loud. It's like clapping.
Yeah. You can hike in groups. That's another thing that's very recommended, because hiking in groups definitely significantly reduces your chances of encountering a bear or having negative bear encounters. Part of that is the noise and the fact that there is more of you, so there's potentially more volume, especially if you're all talking loudly, making noise and clapping.
That's right. And also, I do know that some people hike solo, and that's fine. But also, especially if you're hiking in a bear area, I think it's a great idea to be on a trail that's fair. If you're going to solo hike, then get on a trail that's going to be fairly busy, that's going to have many people on it.
Right. Or look into seeing if you are hiking in an area where there are maybe hiking groups that you can like tag along into, or see what sort of ranger-led programs there are in the park that you might be able to travel with multiple people as opposed to just being there by yourself.
Also, if you see a group and you want to stay near a group, you can always just stay near a group, like even if you're hiking on your own. Right. Another thing is trail running in bear area is not a great idea, because bears respond to running and will run after you.
Yep.
So the NPS does not advise jogging or running, especially if it is on a trail that risks surprising a bear. Right. Don't trail run in this area. Right. There are other areas where people can trail run. Great, but not here. No. Not specifically on a trail in an area where there are bears.
Especially because trails are clear throughways, not just for people, but for animals as well. So
that's right.
If you're running on a trail, a bear has an unobstructed pathway to you, and they can run pretty fast.
Yes.
Yeah. Another thing that's very important, and which we did on this trip, and then as we were hiking, purchased a second bottle of, is to carry bear spray. Bear spray is a deterrent. It's sort of like your last means.
It's sort of a mace, but it's really strong, and it's for bears.
Yes. So the can is under pressure, so it's not something that you could take on an airplane. You, in some places, may be able to rent bear spray for the day, depending on where you're hiking. That is a possibility that we were able to see outdoor retailers that were renting bear spray, but it's not also that expensive to have, and it's a smart idea to carry it. And you should hope that you never have to use it, because that is kind of like your last resort when it comes to dealing with a bear.
Yeah. It's also like, God, I hope it works. I mean, I'm sure you can test it before, but
I don't know if you'd want to. I think it's probably like a one and done we haven't had to open it. And it's been a while since I've read the directions. So, I mean, it was opened, but we hadn't had to pull any sort of pin or arm it.
Yeah, we didn't.
So I don't think it's you can test it ahead of time. I think it's you got to use it.
You got to use it in the moment.
Yeah.
Now,
it will fully empty the canister when you deploy
you pull it. Yeah.
So you can't test it. Don't test it.
The thing about bear spray is that it's your final move to use to defend yourself. What is advised if for some reason you encounter a bear is to make a lot of noise so that the bear knows that you're there. Not in a way to like try and frighten the bear, because bears are sensitive. Make a lot of noise to make the bear aware that you're there. They also don't advise eye contact.
Right. No direct eye contact.
Because some bears find that to be threatening. And then you leave slowly.
Right.
You leave slowly. And sometimes, and if you can, let the bear leave first. But if you're in a circumstance where the bear is not leaving, then you leave slowly. If you run, that will scare the bear, and then that could trigger the bear to run after you.
Right.
So the bear will think that that's like a game. Now, the bear spray is what you use if like that bear is now coming at you and now we're about to have like physical contact, which no one wants physical contact with the bear ever in any kind of way. Even a black bear, even the sweetest of little black bears, you don't want physical contact with the bear. Right. Now, obviously, if you happen upon a family of like peaceful black bears and you're a little close to them, don't get out your bear spray and spray them.
Right.
Like, don't do that. Bear spray is how you respond to
aggression.
An aggressive bear, an aggressive situation coming at you from a bear.
Yeah.
But what's the most important thing about it is you have to stand your ground and use it. Yeah. Even if the bear is coming at you, you stand your ground and then you shoot the bear spray. Yeah. Right in their face.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds like a blast.
Sounds like a bear spray blast.
Some other things to just be aware of as you're on the trails and or out in a bear area is to be aware of your surroundings. Think about what you're seeing on the trail. If you can see that there are prints, see if you can identify what type of prints there are. You can also look for scat or animal poop, and that is another identifier to see if maybe bears are around.
You can see how fresh it is.
Yeah. Some other things to just be kind of cognizant of is the time of day you're hiking and where you're hiking. Streams and areas of dense vegetation can be particularly risky when you're hiking in a bear country or a bear area. And if you're hiking at times of day that are either very early or very late, that is a time when bears are much more active.
Yes.
And so especially if you're doing some early morning hikes, we obviously typically advocate hike early, hike often. That's when you really should be particularly aware of your surroundings and what's going on. Not that you shouldn't be at any other time of the day, but that's when you're likely to see more bear activity. It's really important if you have young children to keep them close by and to really be mindful of them as well, and the fact that they aren't wandering off without you, because that can lead them into a situation that can end disastrously.
The other thing that's really important is securing food and waste and garbage.
Right. Always pack in and
pack out. Always. You don't want to leave any garbage like on a trail ever. And that's also because that wrapper from a granola bar is still going to have that smell on it, and that bear is going to smell it. They have bear boxes.
Right.
And this is usually near campsites where you can put food where it's secure and a bear can't get inside.
Right. There's other ways to, if you're camping with bears, which is not something we're camping in a bear area. This is not something we're exclusively talking about in this episode, but there are things that you can do to secure your food in a way that will not be tempting for bears or will be attractive for bears. And that could include putting it in a bear box, or if you're through hiking, in a bear canister that will, basically keep that smell out. It's sort of like an airtight chamber. You could also hang your food over a branch that will also help to keep and you would do that not near your campsite, away from your campsite, so that if a bear happened to stumble upon that food, it's not stumbling upon the campsite as well. So there are some practical things to do there, but disposing of waste is really important, as Dusty rehashed that story from our campsite in Glacier, but also thinking about what you're carrying in your bag as you're hiking, and things that are going to be more pungent in odor than others. We had a friend who was very young and her family was in Yosemite. They had left food in the car. and
which a lot of people do. Because they are like, this is sort of our makeshift bear box.
Yeah. And a bear had totally ripped into the car and like ripped the car door off to get the food.
Yeah. Like
they came back
to
the
car door in half.
Yeah.
To pull it
So obviously bears are very strong. Bears have a good sense of smell, and bears will be persistent if they're trying to get something that is food related, even if it's human food, even if they haven't been introduced to that. If a bear or an animal is hungry enough, that's something that would be a driving force for them to get food.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we ask everybody to do your homework prior to going to an area where there are bears.
Right. And to check in with the ranger and to see what sort of bear activity is about, because there are situations where trails or parts of parks may be closed because of bear activity. And it's really important to listen to those ranger warnings and any sort of signs that may indicate that, hey, there's either bear activity here or this is a bear active area. And that may be, one thing may be temporary and the other may be something that is very permanent. Be aware when you're out there. Take all the safety precautions you can. Make sure that you're making smart decisions, because no one ever should have to come upon a bear unexpectedly. That is at least this Libra's worst nightmare.
Right. And now let's end this trail mix with a game.
We're going to end this trail mix like we end most of our episodes, with some gameplay, and we're going to do some trivia. And this is a word play game, which
Great.
I love word play games.
Me too.
So this is contains the word bear.
Okay.
So these are all other words that contain the word bear.
I'm ready.
I'll be giving you a clue, and you'll need to answer.
I'm ready.
All right. This may either be facial growth or a lovely young lady who poses as your girlfriend when you take her home to meet the folks.
What is a beard?
That's correct.
Yeah. I have had the first, but not the latter. I have, but I have not been the first, but I've been the latter. No, I'm kidding. I've never been a beard. I don't know that would work out.
And if you're looking for a beard, I don't do that anymore.
I don't do that anymore. That was the 30 Rock reference.
Okay. So these would be the people, ancestors, or relatives that may have come before you.
Oh, I don't know.
What's a forebearer?
Oh, a forebearer.
A forebearer.
Okay.
If you're lost in the woods and you can't make heads or tail of the map, you're trying to get a sense of your what?
What is bearings?
That's correct. These people are often male relatives who are closest to the deceased, who carry the casket.
Oh. What are pallbearers?
That's correct.
So the thing that like a body gets brought in on is called a bier. B-E-I-R.
A bier.
Yeah, which I thought that's what you were asking.
No. Lastly, if you have a parent who tends to hover and often be very brutish in how they handle your life, and sort of is like what would be equatable to like a helicopter parent, they might be known as this.
What is overbearing?
That's correct. Look at you. And that contains the word bear.
This has been Trail Mix by Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast, and we're here to remind you to hike early and hike often, and that adventure is always out there.
Gaze at the National Parks was created and is hosted by us,
Dustin Ballard
and Michael Ryan.
To see images from this episode, follow our Instagram at Gaze at the National Parks. To contact us, email us at gazeatthenationalparks@gmail.com. And to find out more about the parks visited on the show, visit our website, gazeatthenationalparks.com. That's Gaze, G-A-Z-E.
All original artwork featured on Instagram, on our website, and in the Gaze Shop is by me, Michael Ryan.
All original music was written by Dave Seaman and performed by Dave Seaman, Mariella Klinger, and Sean Sklios. Our music producer is Skyler Fortgang. This episode was edited by me, Dustin Ballard.
We would also like to acknowledge acknowledge that while recording this episode, that we are on the traditional and stolen lands of the Lenape people, also known as Middlesex County, New Jersey.